good? Good morning. Happy Sunday, Instagram, Facebook. This is your girl, Tiffany, coming back with you. I just thank you all this morning for your love, your prayers, and support. They've been coming in. You know, we've been under a hurricane watch. And right now, the people in Bahamas, they're getting the direct hit. And so we're going to keep the Bahamas, Cava, a place called Cava, lifted up in prayer because they're right now in the eye of the storm. But I want to just thank you all for your prayers and support. I woke up this morning to multitudes of prayers and everything in my messenger, and I really thank you all for your love and support for praying for us. You know, Jesus was ministering with his disciples, and he told them they were tired, and he told them, get in the boat and let us go to the other side. We're going to go to the other side. And so the word of God says they all got in the boat, and they were on their way to the other side. And Jesus was so tired from ministry that he went down in the bottom of the boat and he took a nap because he wanted to rest. And while Jesus was sleeping, a big storm just came out of nowhere. Just came out of nowhere. And the winds, like hurricane force winds. And like this storm Dorian, they said it could reach up to 180 miles per hour winds in the Bahamas. So the disciples, they became frightened, and they began to throw stuff off of the boat because they really thought they were going to sink. They were fearful, and the winds and the rain was pouring down, and then they got so panicked they didn't know what to do. So they started throwing stuff off of the boat, and their faith was just gone out the window because, you know, this storm just came out all of a sudden. And that's what happens with us in life. Sometimes things happen all of a sudden, unexpectedly, and sometimes it can shake us, and it can bring fear, and it can bring anxiety, and they begin to throw stuff out of the boat, and they to say we're gonna sink. And then they went and woke Jesus up because they're like, Jesus, don't you see that we're gonna perish? We're gonna die here. The storm. We're gonna die. Don't you care, Jesus? How are you sleeping in the midst of this storm? How are you resting? How are you so calm? How are you so not fearful? Why are you not panicking like us? Don't you care that we're gonna die? And Jesus looked at him and told him, "O ye of little faith, trust God, believe God." So yes, sometimes life can throw things at us. Sometimes storms come in our life unexpectedly. But in the midst of these storms, we have to learn how to rest in the midst of these storms. We do our part. We do all we can do, but we have to stand and we have to trust God. Some things are out of our control. My mom always say this thing, sometimes we have to accept what God allows. And sometimes when it's out of our control, we have to just cast it all at the feet of Jesus. Jesus was not concerned about the storm because Jesus rides on storms. He speaks to the wind and they obey. But they didn't have faith. So in the midst of this storm, just pray and ask God to protect you. And once you have asked God, you must trust him. It's a faith thing. You got to walk in faith. You got to believe God. You got to say, if God be for us, who could be against us? And I'm not going to be moved by what I see. I'm going to be moved by the word of God. And you got to hold God at his word. He said, I have placed my word above my name, meaning if I said it, if I promised you, I'm going to do a thing. I'm not a liar. I'm not a man that should lie. Men, they disappoint us. They break their trust, and they tell you they'll do one thing and do another. But if you trust God, if God say he's going to do something, he will do it. And in the midst of this storm for Florida, he has given me peace. And I'm not going to be moved and be tossed and turned and moved. I'm going to trust God. I'm going to stand on his word, and God will protect us. God will be with us. But we're going to pray for the Bahamas that God will protect them, and there will be no casualties, and there will be no casualties here in Florida or anywhere where this Dorian decides to go, because God rides on the storms, and God will protect us if we just trust him. He is moved by faith. What moves God's hand is faith. And if we cry out to him, he said, call upon me, I will answer you. And so God is faithful. So I just thank you all for your love and support. I thank you for your prayers. I thank you for following me as I follow Christ. I thank you all for your words of encouragement. It has been a blessing to me and my family. Continue to pray for the people of the Bahamas. Continue to pray for Florida, because the prayers of the righteous availeth much, and God answers. We serve a God that has ears that he can hear. We don't have to carry him around. He carries us. He'll carry us in the midst of the storms. So when the storms of life begin to rage, whatever storm you're going through, you may not be going through a hurricane, but you're going through a storm in your marriage, in your finances, whatever storms you're going, learn how to rest. Jesus was in the bottom of the boat. He was not concerned. He was resting. He was resting, and that's what we have to do. Rest in the arms of God. You take your burdens to the Lord and you leave them there. If you ask him to do something and you trust him, you leave it there at the altar, and he will provide. He will do exactly what he promised, because he is faithful. So I love you guys. Continue to follow me as I follow Christ. God bless you. God keep you. May he make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Until the next time. Bye-bye.